It's been a tough day to be a Lukaku fan, hasn't it? Jesus Christ. Oh man, I didn't see that coming. I just don't understand how United have agreed a fee with Everton before we have. Because Lukaku was, a few weeks ago, said he's already speaking to the club he wants to join. So you assume that's going to be Chelsea, what we've been a Chelsea fan. Supposedly, we've been after him for a while now. Obviously, he was at us and we wanted to get him back. So it all made sense. Lukaku come to Chelsea. United have come in, and I assume they probably would have spoken to Lukaku first to see if he's interested before getting a fee agreed, which is what happens nowadays anyway. So for him to get a fee agreed, especially as Jose Mourinho's manager as well, what's that all about? Because Jose, obviously the one that was at the club when Lukaku left. Now, I've actually read that Lukaku asked to leave and Jose didn't want him to leave, so if there's any truth in that, it's not strange that Jose wanted him back, because he's a lot of what Jose looks for in a striker. Conte supposedly wants him as well, which has been sort of contested, especially today. Dan Levine, one of the bigger sort of Chelsea journey Twitter accounts, he said that he's actually a Emanalo signing. Well, if he signs. So that'll be an interesting one, because if we haven't bid for him, and what Dan said was, if you wanted to see a big sign of that Chelsea giving Conte what he wants and the signings he wants, there's not a bigger statement than us not signing Lukaku, even though the club desperately wants to sign Lukaku. But Conte said, no, I don't want him. So that, if that's true, that's very good in the terms of us keeping Conte and keeping him happy and him getting what he wants. At the same time, Lukaku scored, what, 25 Premier League goals last season? And he did not too far off that the season before. Whoever gets him is getting a top class striker who's still got a massive ceiling. His potential is enormous. And we'd be so ridiculous to miss out on him if we don't go in for him. Be interesting to see what happens to Morata as well, because obviously Conte's supposedly a massive fan of Morata. So if he doesn't go to United because Lukaku does, then what happens to him? And he obviously wants out of Madrid. So do we get him? I don't know. I feel like that ship's kind of sailed, but find out. There's other strikers that I've never actually seen, like Belotti and things like that. Be very interesting to see what happens though, because all the journalists, apart from Dan, from what I've seen, have been reporting that Lukaku is what Conte wants desperately. So it could swing both ways. If we don't get him, and it's because he didn't want him, then that's a huge statement of trust. But if we do get him, against Conte's wishes, and add this onto the whole Batshuayi signing as well, Conte could go. Maybe not this summer, but he'll be gone next season. So it's an interesting one. As a Lukaku fan, I really want him. Like I said, his potential was massive. I don't understand any sort of doubt criticism. Surely he's proved his haters wrong. He went to West Brom and killed it. And he's gone to Everton and he's been killing it, and he's been getting better each season. And how old is he? 23? Maybe 24? It's ridiculous. 6'3", he's quick, he's getting better on the ball, his conversion rate's good. He's a consistent 25-30 Premier League goal a season striker. He is a 75 million striker. So, why anyone's ever complaining, I don't know. Morata, on the other hand, from what I have seen of him and what I know about him, he's not. His conversion rate is fantastic, and he's been quite prolific considering the actual amount of minutes he's played. But he went to Juve, and I don't think he was even a main striker there. Not that I watched Serie A. And he's gone to Real Madrid, and they bought him back for a lot of money. And again, he's not a starting striker. So he hasn't really had a chance to prove himself as a top scorer and a consistent striker. Statistically, if you break down his minutes per goals, he potentially could be fantastic, which is maybe why Conte really wants him, and he's got a lot of interest from other teams. But we don't know, and everyone knows in the Premier League it's a completely different kettle of fish to the Italian and Spanish league. So it's a quite big risk, and they're drastically different players. From what I know, Morata's more of sort of a link-up player. He's got a bit of pace. He's more technically minded. He's more intelligent. But Lukaku is just an absolute monster, and he scores the goals. He's proven that the last 2 seasons. If you want a striker that scores you 25 Premier League goals, and everyone does, then you go get Lukaku. You don't risk it on Morata, which is probably be around the same money. But I don't know. Anyway, Lukaku blocked me on Twitter, which I only found out recently. I don't know when that happened. It might have happened when he left, but I haven't actually followed him for a while because it was just too painful. But yeah, he blocked me. Morata, if he has Twitter, probably hasn't blocked me. So I could get on board with Morata.